And now, my good friends, introducing the principals. First, in the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with the white trim, he tipped in at an even 244 pounds. Professionally, he has 50 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, with 32 knockouts. He is ranked currently number 8 by the WBA and number 11 by the IBF. All the way from Las Vegas, Nevada, the former WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Dynamite Dokes. Dokes. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the white trunks with the red trim. He weighed in at an even 243 pounds. This young man is undefeated in 32 pro bouts with 27 knockouts. He is the IBF and WBA heavyweight champion of the world from Brooklyn, New York. Here he is, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. Bowe.
What I'm talking about?
Hello, gentlemen. How about playing the ring here, please?
Hey, Bill, get over here.
Gentlemen, you're boxing for the heavyweight championship of the world. You both know the rules. Are there any questions at this time? I want a good, clean fight, and I want you to protect yourself at all times. Shake hands now, and God bless you both.
We've seen Dokes a number of times, guys, in which he goes out and shoots his bolt early and sees if he can intimidate or put off his opponent. I'm sure that Riddick Bowe is ready for that. He wasn't ready when Evander Holyfield came straight at him in the first round. He knows what Dokes likes to do.
On the other hand, George Foreman, Dokes appears to have worked up a nice sweat warming up in the locker room, and Riddick Bowe is bone dry in the upper body.
Michael Dokes is doing the street thing too. He's sitting watching this guy staring at him, playing little major mind tricks that may be effective to get him past the second round.
The crowd a little bit quieter than we might have expected at the beginning of the fight. I would attribute that to the surprise announcement regarding the death of Arthur Ashe. Round 1 begins with Bowe throwing the jab, and many people regard that as most effective weapon. Some say it's the right uppercut. Others would vote for the jab.
Strange with Riddick Bowe. He throws a good, effective left jab, but he's almost jumping backwards as though he doesn't want to put a lot of power on it.
Dokes slapping with the left, landing 3 left hooks to the side of Bowe's face. Bowe sticking the jab and landing virtually all of them early against Michael Dokes. Dokes has upper body movement, but not head movement, George. He's a stationary target.
Yeah, he's dependent strictly on his quick hands, not his quick head or quick feet. And Riddick Bowe can really take advantage of that. And Riddick Bowe has given this old pro too much time to stand around and think.
Now Bowe snapping Dokes' head back again with the jab. Tries to land the right hand and lands a short right inside. Dokes is stunned. And Bowe takes a left hook.
Bowe is stunned by left hook.
That's right. Riddick missing with the big right hand. And down goes Dokes into the ropes. Well, I don't think Dokes went all the way down, but the referee wants to give him what will amount to the first standing 8 count.
That was a very, very fast call.
It was Dokes who decided to go out there and fight early like that, though. Wasn't Bowe's idea.
Short left hand inside by Bowe. More than a minute to go in the round. Plenty of time for Bowe to close it out. If he can keep Dokes in trouble. Dokes lands another left hook, but takes a right in return. Dokes virtually out on his feet. He got a good chance.
I'm surprised the referee is allowing it to go that far.
Is he going to stop it? Yes, right. He does. With 41 seconds still to go in the round, and now Michael Dokes is furious. And Dokes' advisors jump into the ring and begin to state their case, and it was a pretty quick stoppage, even though you say you're surprised, George.
I'm surprised that he didn't stop it a little earlier. The guy was taking too much punishment. There wasn't a chance he was going to get a knockout out of it to pay him back. No
But he had landed the 2 solid left hooks in return.
He was in no shape to continue in that round. This guy came out for a first-round knockout. He was accurate, and he was going to get it.
Well, my own personal opinion is that he was in no shape to come into the ring in the first place. Larry?
Well, it's a heavyweight championship fight. The crowd is very, very upset. This is not going to win Bowe a lot of friends, even though everybody was expecting, as we called it, that this is or was a setup. You can't quarrel with the referee. Remember that when Michael Dokes won the title, it was also on a quick stoppage in about a minute of one round, in which everybody thought that was too fast.
That's a setup. Oh, come on.
But you can't. The referee gave him every chance. He gave him 1 standing 8 count. He even avoided giving him the second 8 count. So the referee was more than generous.
Take the gloves off. Take the gloves off.
Well, we'll take another look at Dokes getting hurt early. Now remember, referee Joe Santarpia is the man watching this at close range.
Bowe was hitting Dokes with jabs, straight jabs, hurting him. Dokes, as I said earlier, was going to try to make something happen. That big right hand wobbled him, shook him up, and that's what started it. But he was there to be hit. For a long-armed fighter, the champion is very good at close quarters.
This night he looked indestructible. I mean, it was like the champion of the world that he is.
All right, there's Santarpia stopping the bout. Now, previously, you had seen the sequence in which Dokes reeled into the ropes, appeared headed down to the canvas. Santarpia stepped in and stopped the action, and Dokes never actually went down.
Well, Dokes spent the week sleeping, and he continued sleeping right here in this fight.
The referee was more than generous. He allowed him the chance to recuperate, not giving the 8 count again. So it was a fair fight. He won. He really won fair and square.
But of course, there are going to be some fans, George, who'll say, hey, wait a minute. We never saw him hit the canvas. How could the fight have been stopped in 2 minutes, 20 seconds?
Yeah, I mean, and those fans are strictly the ones who don't understand boxing. This guy is so big and powerful.
All right, let's go up to ring announcer Ed Darien for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joe Santarpia stops this bout at 2 minutes and 18 seconds of the first round, and a winner by a TKO, and still the heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. Bowe.
Well, the questions are now going to come, who comes next? And as Jim mentioned earlier, Ray Mercer, who was supposed to be next for Riddick Bowe, and might have also gone in about 2 minutes and 40 seconds or 20 seconds, is no longer in the picture. And we'll be talking to everybody about what Riddick Bowe's plans are next. Some people are guessing Evander Holyfield.
Championship belts over his shoulder. And in a moment, we will expect that Riddick will come down to ringside, where we'll get a chance to talk to him. I guess Dokes is probably going to have plenty to say about this as well.
Billy Crystal is in the building. He wants a fight.
George Foreman, one more time, just state clearly the case for why this was a good stoppage, despite the fact that Michael Dokes had not hit the canvas.
Dokes went in to start a fight too quick. He started getting hurt earlier. The referee gave him 1 standing 8 count. He should have done it twice, but he gave him a chance to recuperate. It didn't pay off.
Huh?
You get right here.
The champion now standing on the ring apron, showing off the belt. The attendance was 16,332. That's regarded as astonishing, given the fact that the fight was televised live here in New York on HBO.
Move over, Jim.
And the live gate, $1,603,000 plus, sets a record for a Madison Square Garden event. And now, joining us at ringside is the champion. And Riddick, let's get started. We'll wait for the camera shot to change, and here we are. Congratulations. Did you have a feeling coming into the fight that you're going to be able to get something done quite this quickly?
Oh, yes, definitely. You remember I told you guys yesterday, I wasn't playing with this guy. I was coming in to bang him, and I knew he would be there.
I guess that this tells us that 243 pounds, at least in this circumstance, was no problem whatsoever.
Oh, not at all. And I would like to thank Mike Tyson for the words of wisdom he gave me, and I'm going to take him on his advice, and I thank you, Mike.
Mike Tyson, who made a derisive comment about your weight and said that you were, quote, obese. Now, you dedicated your victory over Holyfield to Mike Tyson. Are you now upset at Mike for having said what he said?
Oh, not at all. I think what he said had a lot of truth to it, and I owe it to the American people and the public to stay in great shape, and that's what I'll do.
So you're saying that with a totally straight face. Are you disappointed that Michael Dokes is going to be seen by a lot of people not to have been in any shape whatsoever to be here tonight?
Oh, not at all. You got to look at it like this in this aspect. I train hard. When these guys step into the ring, they're supposed to be in great shape, and you know, what can I say? If he wasn't, that's his fault.
All right, you were connecting early with the jab. You hit him with a short right hand inside and then a short left hook inside. From that point on, it seemed to be only a matter of time. Was there any one punch you were looking to try to take him out with?
I think I got a little over anxious, and I wanted to load it with the right hand. But other than that, things went pretty much as I anticipated.
One thing that didn't go as you anticipated is the earlier bout this evening between Ray Mercer and Jesse Ferguson. Now, there had been an expectation that you were going to fight Mercer in May, and Mercer got taken to a clinic tonight by a superior boxing job on the part of Jesse Ferguson.
Well, that was a dumb move by Mercer. We told him early to take another fight, and that Jesse Ferguson might prove to be very difficult. And again, Jesse came in, he was ready to fight, and that's the difference. Jesse Ferguson was determined. I don't think Ray Mercer was in great shape, and so he was able to pull out a decision.
Well, this changes the schedule for Riddick Bowe, and some people are speculating that it moves Holyfield up in the rotation toward a rematch. What's your thought about that?
Well, let me say this. I think Holyfield is a great guy, and I think a guy like Evander would always bring the best out of me, so I would welcome that fight.
Riddick, congratulations again. All right.
Hi, Mom.
Eddie Futch, he took care of your heart tonight. Absolutely no anxious moments, right?
No anxious moments. And I didn't have to climb those stairs but once.
All right. Hey, Riddick, come back. One question. Since you tossed the WBC championship belt into a garbage can on December 14, it appears to have become the plan for you and your manager, Rock Newman, to freeze out the World Boxing Council and try to eliminate them from the picture as a meaningful governing body in boxing. Now, does that mean that as long as that man, Lennox Lewis, sees himself as the WBC champion and tries to do business with that belt, that there's a chance that you would never bring him into the ring to defend your titles against him?
Not maybe. There's no chance whatsoever. As long as he recognizes WBC, we can't fight.
So if Lennox Lewis chooses to remain the WBC world champion and successfully defends that belt, then you are never going to go in the ring with him.
That is correct. I am the world heavyweight champion of the world. And if he wants to be a bogus champion and a top cat, then that's on him. I think the American people and everybody here know who the real champion is.
Well, but what about the people who are going to want to see that fight just because they think of him as your primary opposition?
Well, it's unfortunate that Lennox is holding on to that belt. If he really feels like he can beat me and wants to be a real champion, then he needs to renounce the WBC, come on and take these two belts.
So what you're really gambling on is that you can create the leverage necessary to make him renounce the WBC belt as a condition for coming to fight you.
Well, I think the WBC is an unfair organization. As I told you the other day, that Don King will dictate to Lennox Lewis now, and it's already started. Everybody at Lennox Lewis has to fight in the WBC are Don King fighters.
So you're at war with the WBC and Don King.
There's one champion.
And if Lennox Lewis happens to go to distance, he will not win. Simple as that.
Against?
Anybody in the WBC.
Including Tony Tucker.
That's right.
So you're saying if Tony Tucker goes 12 rounds with Lennox Lewis, he'll become the champion of the WBC.
And I'm going to tell you something. If Lennox Lewis hits him on the chin, they might call it a low blow.
Rock Newman, the manager of Riddick Bowe and the chief business maker in the division right now. Ray Mercer took a bad turn tonight against Jesse Ferguson. What does that mean for your May fight prospects?
That means that Riddick won't be fighting Mercer in May, I don't think. I've already gotten a call here at the stadium tonight from MC Hammer representing Evander Holyfield. There's Tommy Morrison out there. There's Big George Foreman. We'll see what happens. We had a press conference scheduled for Monday. At least we'll be going home a day early now.
Are you confident the public will stick with you if you refuse to fight Lennox Lewis for a long time because of his decision to remain the WBC champ?
Well, you must get something right first. We offered Lennox the opportunity to fight Riddick.
Never said you didn't.
He is the one who declined that. So the question is, why is he acting in a cowardly way? We gave him the offer. If he and his people are confident that he could beat Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, he should have accepted the offer. He's the one that is running. He ran and hid behind the WBC and that garbage can belt.
Didn't answer my question. Are you confident the public will stick with you if you take this course of action?
This guy is a rising star that the public has fallen in love with. You see this full house here tonight. They will stay with him. They know there is one champion in the heavyweight division, and that is Riddick Big Daddy Bowe.
Thank you, Rock. Thank you, Riddick. Thank you, Eddie. Let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring.
All right, Joe, would you tell us how you saw what was happening in the ring?
Well, at the beginning of the round, you saw the fight come out right away that Bowe took the fight to Dokes, and he hit him a couple of times. He put him in the ropes there, and the only thing that held him up was the ropes, but it was scored as a knockdown. That was scored as a knockdown when I gave him the 8 count.
So you thought that he would have been knocked down except for the ropes?
The ropes saved him. He was hurt then. He stopped waddling across the ring, got in the corner over here, and he must have got hit with about 20 punches before I decided to jump in. He was hurt, definitely hurt, and my job is to make sure that the fellas don't get hurt.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jim?
All right. Thank you very much, Larry. And now with the Bowe entourage having passed by, we bring George Foreman back in. George, we're going to get another chance to look at the first round, and one question on the part of a lot of people is going to be, did Riddick prove anything against obviously quite limited opposition? Did he prove anything?
Yeah, he won that fight. You don't worry about your critics in boxing. That's for the movie stars. You win and you go home with your money and you count the scars that you don't have. The referee did a fine job. I'm happy about the way he handled that fight. Dokes was ready. Don't fool yourself. He couldn't have taken those hard punches unless he had been in shape, but he just couldn't come back against a motivated Riddick Bowe.
All right, let's go back to Larry with Michael Dokes and hear his side of the story. Larry?
All right, Michael, give us your side of the story. How aware were you really able to fight back in your judgment?
Larry, I know you've been sort of a ass to people before, but you can't look me in my eye and honestly tell me that you thought I was incoherent or incompetent to continue that fight. Look me in my eye.
I'm looking in your eye. I think the fight could have gone on, but
yeah, exactly. That's the bottom line.
But at the same time, the referee felt that you were wobbled and that you had taken a lot of unanswered punches. And one other thing, Michael. You won the title in 1 minute on a fight that a lot of other people thought was a fast stoppage. It's part of the game, isn't it?
And they made it mandatory that they had to return match, too.
Regardless if it's a fair game or not, I had to defend my title again against Mike Weaver on that 63 title defense, 63 second title defense, which was tainted from that point on. You know what I'm saying? If they want to serve me purpose, my purpose is correct. Give me another defense. I'm looking at the ref. I'm looking at Riddick Bowe. Sure, he might have found a couple.
Did you feel in the first knockdown?
He didn't knock me down.
Well, I wanted to ask you that. What did the ropes hold you up? He ruled that the ropes.
Hey, if I hit you on the chin, I don't care if ropes are there, or steel beam is there, or you wedged in by nails. Your legs is gonna leave you. Regardless of the rope, my legs would leave me.
The man went into the ropes.
I'm wondering what the referee is talking about. What is he specifically pointing out to me, or to you, or to anybody else?
Do you think that he is anticipating, because there's a big young champion against an older challenger, that in anticipation of what might happen, that he stopped it?
Anticipation of what? Ain't nothing.
No. What he's talking about, Mike, is the fight that they already had plans that they had made.
You talking about with Mercer? What are you talking about? In terms of Mercer, or are you talking about the thing that may have happened to me? Please let me go on one knee.
We're fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world, Larry.
All right, thank you, Michael. We've got your side of the story. We appreciate it. All right, Jim.
Okay, thanks very much, Larry. And now, George, let's you and I look back at the 2 minutes, 20 seconds or so of first round action. And we'll start from the beginning as Riddick Bowe came out throwing the jab against a maybe too aggressive Michael Dokes.
You know, that jab sort of hurts the backbone a bit when you jerk the head back like that. So he was setting him up for some shots that would really knock him down. He's in control of the fight, landing the punches he wants. Michael Dokes is only reacting to what he does first. And I'm surprised that Michael Dokes would even want to instigate a fight with this big man until it's about 4 or 5 rounds gone.
Well, I don't think he would have had the legs to stay away, George.
That's true.
You know, I'm just not sure that Michael Dokes had many options coming in here tonight. And to his credit, he at least made an honest man of himself in the sense that he didn't make a charade of trying to run when he couldn't have done it.
Riddick Bowe is doing a fine job with the left jab. I mean, this guy was just a sitting duck for his left jab, which does more damage than the right-hand punches early in the fight.
Larry Merchant rejoining us now at ringside. We're about a minute into round number 1, Larry. Now coming up is the sequence in which Bowe will drive Dokes into the ropes. The referee stops the action, and Dokes never goes down. So it's not, in effect, a knockdown, although the referee may have ruled it as such. I don't think he ever gave a count. I don't think he gave a knockdown count or a standing count. See there, Santarpia stops the action. Now when he turns back to Dokes, he says 2, and now he begins talking to it. I think the count, such as it was, ended at about 2. And from that point on, it was just a matter of talking to Dokes till he brought him back.
And you know something, the referee, like I said earlier, could have went in about right now and gave him another standing 8 count, but he was really kind to Dokes and gave him a chance to get yourself together. I'm not going to shame you, and Dokes couldn't do it. You see, he omitted the standing 8 count. The referee did a fine job. He gave him every chance he could.
Now this is the point at which Bowe said that he thought he was a little too anxious and trying too hard for the knockout. But he lands enough blows.
You can see that a referee is giving him every chance in the world, but you can't stand with a big guy like Riddick Bowe and let him beat on a guy who's 21 years old like that.
All right, so there, the Santarpia stoppage and the end of the fight, about 2 minutes, 20 seconds in. Okay, gentlemen, let's take a look back at something.